Let's continue.
But what if the number you circled is closer to 10?
Let's try it.
So let's repeat the steps. This time, the number 67. The directions say, round to the nearest tens place. So, what do? Well, underline the number you're working with.
Circle the number next to it.
This number affects this number
tremendously.
Now you ask yourself a question. Is the number you circled closer to 10 or 0? If it's closer to 0, you turn it into a 0 and you're done. But the number we circled is 7. Is that closer to 10 or 0?
It's closer to 10.
Correct. So we turn the number we circled into a 0, and the other number goes up by 1. So what's one number higher than 6? Is it 7? Bingo, and you're done.
All right, so let's repeat the steps.
Step brothers, step up to the streets, step by step, the Stepford wives.
No, try again.
Underline the number you're working with.
Circle the number next to it. The number you circled affects the other number
Tremendously.
Now you ask yourself a question. Is the number you circled closer to 10 or 0?
If it's closer to 0, you turn it into a 0 and you're done.
But if it's closer to 10, you turn it into a 0, but the number you underlined goes up by 1.
Yeah, it's that simple.
But what if it's a bigger number, like 237?
Well, you still follow the same steps, but there's one extra rule. Here, look at this.
So once again, we look at the directions. This time, it says to round to the nearest 100. So what number is in the hundreds place?
The 2?
Yep. So the next step is to...
Underline the number you're working with.
Then we...
Circle the number next to it.
This number affects this number.
Tremendously.
Now we ask ourselves a question.
Is the number you circled closer to 10 or 0? Well, it's closer to 0.
So we turn it into a 0 and the 2 stays the same. But we're still left with that 7. So we take that number and we turn him into a 0.
But why?
But why what?
But why do we turn the 7 into a 0?
Because he's so lonely.
What?
He sit there all alone at night. He eat a TV dinner all alone at night because he's so lonely.
I think he's losing it.
He go to the movies all alone and he sit all alone and get one seat and one popcorn.
All right, let's see what's in math and NCY today. We're going to be working with counting, place value, and rounding today. Yep.
All right, we can
count numbers up to 10, can't we?
We can
count numbers up to 10.
Emily has four
teddy bears. Let's count 4 teddy bears.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4, and
then I just put my number 4 there.
Chris has
Chris
7 teddy bears.
Count 7 teddy bears. Let's count 7 teddy bears.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I
just add my number 7 in there.
Who has more teddy bears?
Emily or Chris?
Chris.
Chris, good job.
Good job. He has a bigger number.
Who has less
teddy bears? Emily or Chris, or do they have the same?
Emily.
Emily,
Good job, guys.
All right, Elena has 8 balls.
Count 8 balls.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
7, 8.
Then you match
the number 8 right here. There we go. Now Kale has 10 balls. Let's count up to 10. Let's count the 10 balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then find my number 10.
Who has more?
Elena or Kale?
Who Who has more?
Who has more?
Kale does, right?
Kale does, right? Because the number 10 is a bigger number than 8.
Who has
Who
less?
has less?
If Kale has more,
If Kale has more, then we know that Elena has less.
Her number's smaller.
Her number's smaller. 8 is smaller than 10 because it comes before 10.
All right, we can count
Alright,
numbers
we can
up to
count
10.
numbers up to 10, Candice. Let's move on to the next lesson.
Now we can count
Now we
numbers
can
up
count
to
numbers
20.
up to 20.
Tell yourself
Tell
this,
yourself
boys and girls.
this,
I
boys and
can
girls.
count
I can
numbers
count
up to
numbers up
20.
to 20.
I can count
I
numbers
can
to
count
20.
numbers to 20.
All right, let's see here.
Alright, let's see
Elena
here.
has 13
Elena has
puzzles.
13 puzzles.
And Kale has
And
16.
Kale has 16.
So I love to
So
highlight my
highlight
key numbers
my
here
key
so I can
numbers here so I
they
can just
stand
kind
out
of,
to
they
me.
stand out to me.
So Elena has
So
13
Elena
and Kale
has
has
13 and
16.
Kale has
Who
16.
has more?
Who has more?
Who has more?
Who has more? Elena or Kale? Look at those numbers. Which number is bigger?
Kale?
That's right.
That's right.
Kale
Kale has more because 16 is a bigger number. Good job, Mia.
Let's look at our next
Let's look
one.
at our next one.
Elena has
Elena
19
has
blocks.
19 blocks.
Kale has 20
Kale
blocks.
has 20
Who
blocks.
has
Who
less?
has
Which number is
less? Which
smaller?
number is smaller?
Who has less?
Who has less?
19 is smaller
19
than
is
20,
smaller
so
than 20,
Elena
so
has
Elena
less.
has less.
19 blocks.
Yeah. Elena has 19,
Elena
so
has
that is
19,
a
so
smaller
that is
number.
a
So she
smaller
has
number,
less,
so
or
she
she
has
has
less, or
fewer.
she has
Those
fewer.
words mean the
Those
same
words
thing.
mean the same thing.
Let's look at our next.
Let's look at our next.
Elena has 14 toy animals.
Yep.
Yep.
What's it, Emma?
So Elena has
So
14.
Elena has
Kale
14.
has 11 toy animals.
Yep. Kale has 11.
Yep. Kale has
So
11.
do they have the
So
same?
do they have the same?
Nope.
Nope. They do
Nope.
not have the
They
same.
do not have the same.
Good job.
Good job.
All right, again, we can
Alright,
count
again, we
numbers
can
to
count
20.
numbers
It
to
says
20.
Emily
It
has
says
board
Emily
games.
has
How
board
many
games.
board games
How
does
many board
Emily
games
have?
does
So now we
Emily
have to
have? So
count to
now we
see.
have to count to see.
Let's count 1,
Let's count 1,
2,
1,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
7,
7,
8,
8,
9,
9,
10,
10,
11,
11,
12,
12,
13,
13,
14,
14,
15.
15.
All right, so I'm going
Alright,
to
so
find
I'm
my
going
15
to find
and
my
put it in
15
my
and put it in my
answer
answer box.
box. Good job.
Good job.
We counted up to 15.
We counted up to 15.
Chris collects 12 puzzles. How many puzzles does Chris collect?
All right, Chris
Chris collects puzzles.
He collects
He
12.
collects
How
12.
many did they say
How
he
many did
collects?
they say he collects?
12.
12.
12 puzzles.
What
How many
puzzle?
Yep.
puzzles does Chris collect?
Let's practice
Let's
counting up to
practice
12.
counting up
We
to
can
12.
count up
Because we
to
can
numbers
count
up
up
to
to
20. So
numbers up
let's
to
start.
20. So let's
1,
start. 1,
2,
1,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
7,
7,
8,
8,
9,
9,
10,
10,
11,
11,
12.
12.
Good job. We
Good
counted
job.
up to
We
12.
counted up to
He
12.
has 12.
Because he has 12.
Y'all like doing puzzles?
Y'all like doing puzzles?
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too.
4.
All right,
Look,
now we're
now
trying to find out
We're
how
trying to
many.
find out how many.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, let's look at our teddy bears.
Let's look at our teddy
How many
bears.
teddy bears
How
do we
many
have?
teddy
Let's
bears do
count.
we have? Let's count.
1, 2, 3,
10. 1, 2,
All right, we have
All right,
5.
we have
Mute
5.
yourself.
Mute yourself.
5.
All right, how many
All right, how
giraffes?
many giraffes?
Let's count the
Let's
giraffes.
count the giraffes.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6.
6.
We have 6
We have
giraffes.
6 giraffes.
Good job. We can
Good
count
job.
from
We
1
can
to 10.
count from 1 to 10.
All right.
All right.
We can compare
We
numbers.
can compare
So we're going to
numbers.
be
So we're going to be comparing numbers. When you're comparing numbers, all you're doing is telling somebody which one is greater, which one's less than, or are they equal? Which one's bigger, smaller, or are they the same? That's all you're doing.
All right, let's review
All right, let's review our Blazer Fresh Hullabaloo dance. I want you to do the dance and move your arms so you can remember greater than, less than, or equal to.
I guess it'd be better to get these laminated because they will look a lot better if they are. So this one means greater than.
Means greater than.
So greater than or bigger.
So greater than or bigger. Emily has 8 apples. Chris has 4 apples. 8 is bigger than 4. So 8 is also greater than 4.
Someone raised his hand.
Oh, thank you for letting me know.
Thank you for letting me know. Caden, do you have a question?
Do it mine. Not now.
Good job. Good job.
So this little one means less than or smaller.
Emily has 3 footballs. Chris has 7 footballs. 3 is smaller than 7, so that means that 3 is less than 7.
3. Less than.
And that's how you would write it.
And that's how you would write it.
This little sign means
equal to or the same.
Means equal to the same.
Emily has 6 leaves.
Emily has 6 leaves. Chris has 6 leaves. They are both the same number.
6 equals 6.
All right, Emily collects
28 toy animals. Chris collects 32 toy animals. What would I put in between 28 and 32? 28 is what?
Bigger.
Well, let's look at the numbers again.
Let's look at the numbers again.
I gotta answer it now.
Oh, I gotta answer it now.
So 28 is less than 32.
So 28 is less than 32. It's smaller. So you would put 28 is less than 32.
All right, let's look at 36.
All right, let's look at 36 and 43. Which one is smaller, 36 or 43?
33.
36. That's right.
36. That's right. 36 is smaller.
We're going to put the sign right there.
We're going to put the sign right there.
43 is a bigger number.
43 is a bigger number, right?
So we have to put
the less than sign right there.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong one.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Less than sign.
Your little arrow
Your
always
little
opens
arrow
up
always
towards the
opens
bigger
up
number.
towards the
36
bigger number. So 36
is less than
is less than
43.
43.
Let's look at 41
Let's look at
30.
41 and 30.
41.
Is 41
Is
bigger
41
or
bigger
smaller than 30?
or smaller than 30?
Smaller.
Look at my arrow.
Look at my arrow.
41 is a
41 is a bigger number. 30 is smaller. So I have to show that 41 is bigger or greater than. So my little mouth is going to open up towards the bigger number.
41. Greater than
41 is
30.
41 is greater than 30.
All right, now
I am going to sort my hundreds, tens, and ones place.
So this is what 100
So
is.
this is what 100 is.
100.
This is our tens place.
This is our tens place.
10.
And this is our ones place.
And this is our ones place.
1.
So the number I'm trying
to show and sort into our columns is the number 340. So that's what I'm working with.
How would we put
340 into our columns? 340.
So
how many ones do we have in the number 340? We don't have any, so I'm not going to put any in there. How many tens do I show here?
4.
4. So I need to put 10, 20, 30, 40.
Good. Now we
just have to figure out my hundreds place. How many hundreds do I have written there?
3.
3. So I need 300s. 100, 200, 300.
There we go. We got the answer.
There we go. We got the answer. And here is just where you're going to type it in. 300s, 4 tens, and 0 ones.
All right, let's look at this one.
We're trying to show 567. 567.
So how many
ones do I have here in the ones place? You see that number 7? We have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, now let's go to our tens place.
What's this number right here?
6. Good job.
Good job. So let's count 6 tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
All right, we're
almost done. Let's go to our neighbor column, the hundreds place.
How many hundreds do I have,
Aisha?
What's that number right there?
7.
No, right here in the hundreds place. That's a 5.
That's a 5.
So let's count 500. 100. 200.
Y'all need to mute.
Everybody needs to mute
Unless you're answering a question.
Aisha,
hit your mute button. Mia and Kaden, please. Let's start over.
100.
100, 200, 300, 400, and 500.
All right, so
this little box is telling you if you're on track to get the answer. That's your little counter right there. So now I'm just going to put my number in here. How many hundreds? 5. How many tens? 6. How many ones? 7.
Okay, now we're going to work on
Okay,
some
now we're
rounding
going to work on
skills.
some rounding
This chart is
skills.
just
This chart is just
helping
helping
you
you know when you need to round up or round down. So these are the steps you need to follow.
Find the number you want to round on the number line.
And this is rounding
to the nearest tens place. We can round to the nearest tens
Our number
place.
chart that we were
Our
working on
number
before,
chart that we were working on before, we saw that we had the tens place
and then the ones place.
and then the ones place. Okay.
So first you want to
put the number on the number line that you're wanting to round. Then you count down to the nearest tens.
Count down to the nearest 10.
So if we're looking at the number 13,
So if we're looking at the number 13, it is 1, 2, 3 spaces away from the number 10.
Count up to the nearest 10.
How many spaces from the
20 is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces up to the next 10, which is 20.
So the answer is the closer number.
3 units is closer than 7 units. So you're going to round down. It's closer to go this way than it is to go that way, isn't it? So we're going to go this way. We're going to go down.
It's easier for the 13
to go 3 spaces than it is to go this long of a way. So we're going to round down to 10.
Let's look at
example number 2.
Find the number you want to round on the number
So
line.
we're
trying to round the number 15, and we've marked it here on the number line. There's 15 right there.
Count down to the
All right,
nearest
let's
10.
count down to the nearest 10.
Let's count down to the nearest tens. How many spots do we have to go?
2,
1,
3,
2, 3,
5.
4, 5. Now count up to the nearest 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's not any closer.
It's not any closer. It's the same, right? So since we're at the 5s, we always round up when you're at that halfway point. So we're going to round up to 20.
I'm Kelly Loeffler. I approve this message.
Raphael Warnock wants you to think his preaching isn't a...
Math Coach presents Rounding to the nearest 10. We use rounding when we want to estimate. Rounding gives us numbers that are easy to use, like 10, 20, 30, and so on. Rounded numbers help you solve everyday problems where you don't need an exact answer. That's called an estimate. Rounding might look hard, but hey, guess what? If you know how to put numbers in order and can skip count by tens, you can learn to round any number to the 4 is less than 5. So, to the nearest 10, 4 rounds down to 0. And sometimes the nearest 10 is 100. Look at 96. The benchmarks are 90 and 100. The midpoint is 95. 96 is greater than 95. So, to the nearest 10, 96 rounds up to 100.
Nobody can serve God and the military.
Raphael Warnock, too radical, too dangerous.
let's look at this one. It says
All right, let's look at this one. It says Emily has 7 board games. She wants to round 7 to the nearest 10.
Here's the 7 on the number line.
So here's the 7 on the number line.
It's got a little green dot showing
It's got a little green dot showing that we're at number 7. So remember what our first step was to do. Our first step was to find out how many spaces do we need to count down
and how many
to 0, and how many spaces do we need to count up, and whichever one's closer, that's how we round up. So how many spaces does it take here to count down to 0 for rounding to the nearest tens?
It takes us
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to round down. It would only take us 1, 2, 3 to round up. So we want to go that way. That's a shorter way. So we're going to round up to 10.
So how many units from 7 to 0?
So how many units from 7 to 0? It was a lot more. It was 7.
How many spaces or units
did it take to get up to 10 from 7? Only 3.
7 is closer to
10.
So Emily's going to round 7
to the number 10.
Good job.
Good job.
All right, let's find the number 13 on the number line.
All right, let's find the number 13 on the number line. Here it is right here.
Is 13
closer to 10 or 20? Well, let's figure it out. Let's answer this question.
How many units from 13
How many
to 10?
How many spaces would it take us to get from 13 to 10? 1, 2, 3.
Now let's find this one.
Now let's find this one.
How many units from 13
How many units from 13 up to 20?
How many units from 13 up to 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Is 13 closer?
Is 13
closer to what
or
number?
13 is closer to what number?
It's closer to 10.
It's
Look,
closer to 10.
it only has to go this much.
It only has to go this much.
If it went up to 20, it would have to go
If it went up to
all
20,
that
it would have to go all that
way.
way.
So Chris rounds 13
down to 10 because it's closer.
10.
So if you get a sheet like this,
If you get a sheet like this, you're going to actually have to put the dot and put the spaces on the number line. We can do that.
Elena has 32 toy animals. She wants to round 32 to the nearest
The number we're trying to round here is
The number we're trying to round here is 32.
So I need to mark my 32
So I need to mark my 32 with my dot on the number line. There's 32 right there. So you put the dot right there over it. Okay.
How many units from 32
How
to
many
30?
units or spaces would it take
How
us
many
to round
units or
down back
spaces
to
would it
30?
take us to round down back to 30? 1
2.
and 2.
So it would only take us 2 to do
So
that.
it would only take us
Next
2
one.
to do that. Next one.
How many units from 32
How many
to
units
40?
would it take to get from
How many
32 up to
units would it
40,
take to get from 32 up to 40, which is our next 10? 1, 2, 3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
7,
7,
8,
8.
32 is obviously closer.
32 is obviously closer.
It's closer to 30, isn't it?
It's closer to 30, isn't it?
Elena rounds 32.
Elena rounds 32 down to 30.
We want to round down since it's
Because we
closer
want to
to
round
30.
down since it's closer to 30.
All right, let's just focus on rounding
All right,
to the
let's
nearest
just
tens
focus
today.
on
I'm gonna
rounding
take
to the
the
nearest
100s
tens today.
out.
I'm going to
We've
take the
got enough
100s
lessons
out.
with rounding
I
to
think
the
we've got
nearest
enough
tens.
lessons with rounding to
So
the
you're
nearest
going to
tens.
go to your
So
N2Y
you're
and
going
do
to
your
go to
math
your
lessons.
N2Y and do your math lessons now.
We're We're gonna come back at 1:45.
We're gonna come back at 1:45 for movement and yoga.
So work until 1:45 and I'll
So
update
work
the
until
slide with
1:45 and I'll update the slide with the correct time on here. I'm gonna move out this and I'm gonna add 1:45.
If y'all need any help, just raise your hand.
If y'all need any help, just raise your hand. Oops, I don't want that. Close this. There we go.
Those lessons. Too much for them to do both, I think.